What's up guys, Sando here, and today I'll be testing these beautiful looking, gorgeous, high-end headphones from Japan called Fostex TH909. So these are pretty much the same TH900 Mark II headphones, but of course in an open back design, as you can clearly see. They have the same drivers, the same powerful magnets, of course the same beautiful ear caps, as you can see. But would they offer the same subterranean bass notes and the same impact and dynamics? We shall see very soon. If you ever experienced a TH series headphones from Fostex, then you should know that TH909 is having basically the same lightweight frame. This is a huge plus in my book because while they look quite big and imposing, their weight sits at only 390 grams. That will have a tremendous impact on the comfort levels long term. Fostex succeeded in here by using metal only in the most crucial parts of its frame. The headband is quite thin, it doesn't have a lot of padding and instead is covered with a thin layer of synthetic leather. This shouldn't worry you too much because the weight distribution is good and I never felt discomfort even after a few hours of use. The stars of the show are obviously those gorgeous looking ear caps. Not only did they use the rarest woods, Japanese cherry, but they also added a very beautiful lacquer Bordeaux finish by Sakamoto Urushi factory. Just between the wood itself and the lacquer finish, you can spot some silver foils that are adding a very nice effect when light is shining at them. The ear pads are detachable and from the wall headphone line, these are having the biggest ear pad openings, so it's a newly designed ear pad. It adopts a low resilience cushion to achieve very high comfort levels. As for the tech inside them, this is a dynamic headphone that is using proprietary 50mm Biodyna drivers that are made from a mixture of biocellulose and inorganic fiber. Fostex used some of the best magnets to achieve a very high 1.5 Tesla magnetic flux that should preserve the full force of the transient response and widen considerably its dynamic range. A combination of two factors, like its very low 25 ohm impedance and its very high sensitivity of 100 dB, made it one of the easiest to drive desktop dynamic headphones in existence, but more about this very soon. Fostex is also calling them open back headphones, as you can clearly see the double layer structure of the metal grills, which will diversify the resonance points and will move a lot of unwanted acoustic waves outside of the ear caps. That mesh is pretty cool looking, and since there is a thin layer of foam under it, dust particles will not get inside. Okay everybody, I'm ready for some well-deserved music, so let's hit some eardrums. As for its sound performance, I almost forgot how fun and enjoyable headphone listening can be. The amount of positive energy that is emanating from these drivers is actually very high. I almost can't believe that a pair of dynamic drivers are sitting somewhere inside these ear caps, as the slam and the speed that these are capable of are simply one of the best I have experienced with headphones. I just want to listen to music with a stupid smile on my face and just not give a damn about anything else. These are really engaging, really toy-tapping type of headphones. It's like having your own party inside your head that will always pump positive emotions, good emotions, will uplift your day. There are a lot of headphones that I can't multitask while working, while listening to music, but not with TH909. This will demand my full attention. While these are not the widest and the airiest headphone that I have listened to, I'm pretty sure that these are pretty much the most fun open back desktop headphones that I've heard in a while. So oftentimes I don't want to think about the smallest details in my music, all those micro details, all those technical aspects of my music, or all the flaws of my music. Oftentimes I just want to rock out and remember the good old times. And I do believe that TH909 are very good at moments like this. These are even harder slamming and more impactful sounding compared to my Quad Era 1 headphones and to Odyssey LCD4. And that is actually tells a lot about how I feel about TH909. I do think that the transient response is actually their second name. and everything that is tied to it, like the slam and the speed of delivery, are simply world class. What excels on TH909 is actually a combination of multiple factors that are making them truly special sounding. So first of all is the lightning fast speed, then it is amazing slam in the chest, in the eardrums, sorry, then good transparency and detail retrieval, open sound with a really nice depth, extended frequency response at both ends, and of course the high sensitivity that are not adding a lot of pressure on your source and amplification. Power requirements is also an interesting aspect that I need to mention. So if you checked my Kennerton Magni and Kennerton Gallagher reviews, I call them as the easiest to drive desktop headphones that I have experienced. Their super low impedance and very high sensitivity numbers made them really easy to drive out of anything basically. So even low powered devices as digital audio players or Bluetooth dongles worked really nicely with them. And even smartphones and laptops worked pretty nicely too. So compared to them, TH909 will need on average 2 dB more to achieve the same sound pressure level, according to the microphones inside the mini DSP ear system. So it's my pleasure to tell you that TH909 are really easy to drive, and on average they will need 1 dB more to achieve the same sound pressure level compared to portable headphones like Meze 99 Classics or Sennheiser Momentum line. This is quite a big deal because if you can drive portable headphones with a lot of power to spare, then you can pretty much drive this with the same amount of power, and you'll have a lot of headroom left on tap. I'm going as far and say that you don't really need a powerful headphone amplifier to drive this, and it will not improve them that much. A balanced headphone amplifier is also not mandatory to achieve the best results. If you already have a digital source or maybe an analog source with a headphone jack on its front plate, then I'm pretty sure that it will drive them at very loud levels, awakening some punchy dynamics that I'm experiencing. Half-decent digital audio player will also have no issues of driving this to very high volume levels. This is a very big deal actually, because they just transformed in one of the nicest transportable headphones, which you can carry around in long or short trips and drive them with a simple Bluetooth dongle like FiO BTR5 or Shanling UP4, or with a portable DAP and have some amazing results. As for the Soundstage Depth, I didn't need a lot of time to realize that TH909 are sounding more open and wider and airier compared to headphones like RZH Mania, Olo S4X Reference, Quad Era 1, Sennheiser HD6XX line of headphones, and of course they outperform those horn-loaded Kennerton Gallagher at their own game, which mind you is not an easy task to do. They sounded only by a hair less extended compared to the widest sounding headphones like Meze Empyrean, Odyssey LCD4, Hyphaman Susvara, RZH Phobos, Kennerton Wodan, but I have already expecting that, if being completely honest with you. So TH909 will preserve depth information as well as a wider soundstage if you are listening to the right music, as live music for example. It wasn't that difficult appreciating that few sounds simply were closer to me, other sounds were simply farther away from me. What also impressed me is that if I listen to at much lower volumes, say 55 to 60 dB, the notes felt exactly as visceral, exactly as defined and outlined. I didn't need to raise the volume up to hear all the impact of the bass notes. Even live music sounded really impactful, really nicely, and had a really nice pace, rhythm and timing. Not a lot of headphones can do that, so planar magnetics for example are not that impressive at low listening volumes. Yet TH909 sounding really snappy, really engaging and wide open even at low sound pressure level. As for transient response, holy smokes! I'm yet to hear a headphone that is more impactful, that is more engaging, that is more fun, that is more mean sounding, more brutal, untamed, like this is sounding to me. So unwillingly I added more electronica to my playlist, more rock, more metal. I simply wanted to test their limits and they wanted to test my limits back. So if you want to rock out really hard and simply uplift your day, I simply don't know a better remedy than this. So a huge dopamine simply enters my veins when a faster paced track starts playing with these headphones on my head. While listening to them, I cannot focus or do anything else, so these are not your regular easygoing, smooth and multitasking type of headphones. Can you really work or relax when your eardrums are being kicked like a punching bag? I don't think so. So I went all in with my music. I was going faster and faster with my music, and no matter how fast it was, TH909 was able to keep up like it was nothing, like it was a walk in the park. I never experienced madness or that they are running out of fuel or dynamics. On the contrary, after a few hours of non-stop action, I just needed to take some rest. So these are fun sounding in its purest form and shape, and if rebel blood is running through your veins, I do think that this will rock out pretty hard and will deliver everything you want from your music. Dynamics and Transient Response are pretty much their second names, and if this is what I'm searching for, I don't know anything that is harder hitting and more engaging. Mellower and slower paced music worked pretty nicely as well, and they were able to break and slow down a little, but it's not their forte, so don't expect to be completely relaxed with this. As for details and transparency, there is no denying that TH909 is a clean and transparent sounding headphone. Their super extended frequency response and super fast nature with lightning fast decays are making them appear as having slightly a higher resolution and a top-notch transparency. I'm listening to them for more than 3 weeks now, and I'm not shy saying that these are pretty much the most detailed dynamic headphones that I've tried of late in my house. So it's not Sennheiser HD 800 level, but more like a Beyerdynamic T1 level, if that makes any sense to you. They will outplay entry-level to mid-level planar magnetics, even approaching some high-end planar magnetic headphones in this regard. So they're extremely good treble performance, making them appear as really detailed sounding headphones. And no matter the song, they sounded very complete in a way, so they always delivered the whole package. I actually find them more detailed than most headphones that I have reviewed of late. They will destroy headphones like Meze Empyrean, Odyssey LCD2, Odyssey LCD3, and will come dangerously close to upper league of headphones. I never had a feeling that something is missing in here, and the smallest micro details in my music were rendered like macro details, and I really don't need top-notch electronics to hear all that, and I don't need to force myself and close my eyes to hear all that. As for the frequency response, I'm pretty sure that they have the best sub-bass extension that I've heard in headphones. There are so many layers of bass in my tunes that I cannot believe that other high-end headphones cannot show me as much layers of bass as these are doing. Even from the lowest octaves, they were able to awake subterranean bass notes so easily, so gracefully. These are going slightly into the bass head category. Quantity-wise, it goes a little bit overboard, but not so much as Sony Z1R goes, for example. Sub-bass felt fast and extremely controlled. It's a high-quality type of bass actually, so it's articulate, it's extremely clean sounding. With electronica, I'm pretty much decompressing those bass notes. It feels mostly like reverse engineering for such kind of music. 20 Hz notes felt extremely easy, and I didn't even need some sweep tones to hear them. Mid-bass comes exactly the same, so it's clean, full-bodied, and it hits hard without any warning signs. They have a linear mid-range performance without any drops or rises in here, so voices had that unmistakable pitch. Female and male voices sounded really different from each other, yet natural and lifelike most of the time. I dived so deep into planar magnetic territory that I almost forgot how well and natural well-designed dynamic driver could sound. They were able also to render the natural wood tones of guitars or of violins, for example. All that felt really natural and right from the get-go. I've listened to quite a few jazz albums, and there wasn't a time when I longed for planar midrange, because it was present in here all the time. This is pretty much the only area where I feel that it's linear and straight, unlike bass and treble that are elevated by a bit. I am hearing a detailed and extended treble performance. It sounds fast in here, it will decay immediately in here. The most sensitive part of our hearing, so somewhere between 6 and 9 kHz, is really well rendered, ever so slightly elevated. That will induce this feeling of extra details. They can appear as ever so slightly bright sounding, but only by a little and only short term. What is actually very interesting is that if I'm going a little bit higher on my amplifier, they will not distort, and the driver will hold up pretty nicely. So no matter how high I'm pushing that volume, the sound doesn't break up, and distortion is not an issue with this. All in all, I didn't experience roll-offs in the treble at all, nor in the sub-bass. I felt it complete from the lowest to the highest notes. Dynamics were always sky high, and I really don't have much to reproach in terms of frequency response. I also measured their performance using a mini DSP ear system, so I'll briefly show you their raw frequency response, which shows a good driver matching. Frequency response is very much the same that I have described, and sincerely I am not surprised to see it that way. Their total harmonic distortion is extremely impressive at just 0.16%. This is the lowest I've recorded so far on any headphones. Waterfall and spectral decay are showing a super short driver vibration and an instant decay of the notes. As for the conclusion, this is my first contact with Fostex headphones, and hopefully it will not be my last. This actually checked a lot of boxes for me, as I'm yet to hear a headphone that sounds as fast, that will pound as hard, and that will move my body as much. This felt actually like undefeated champions in terms of transient response and sub-bass delivery in an open back headphone. TH909 is their statement open back dynamic headphone, and as a flagship product they'll cost you a pretty penny, more exactly $17.99. However, you can find several B-stock pairs for $500 cheaper on Amazon, which is an amazing value if you ask me. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed my review. My full in-depth review is waiting on my website. In case you want to support this channel, please subscribe to it, and thank you for doing that. And as usual, listen to my music, be positive, and I'll see you next time. Cheers guys, bye bye.